WISN 12 News with breaking news.
We are breaking into programming here at 2:42 on this Thursday to bring you breaking news. We are standing by waiting for Milwaukee police to give us an update on what exactly happened near 91st and Appleton. That is on the city's northwest side. We're standing by right now. We see the chief approaching the podium. Right now we're taking a look at video from News Chopper 12.
Yeah, we understand 3 officers were shot. According to sources, you see Chief Jeffrey Norman ready to address reporters, standing by with Mayor Cavalier Johnson. Let's listen in.
At approximately 10:15 a.m., Milwaukee Police Department officers were on the 5300 block of North 91st Street seeking a subject wanted for a felon in possession of a firearm, domestic violence-related false imprisonment, and sexual assault. While on scene, the officers attempted communication with the suspect. Then, at approximately 11:38 a.m., the suspect fired shots at our officers. Officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect. After the gunfire ceased, officers continued communication with the suspect. At this time, he surrendered 2 firearms with extended magazines and was subsequently arrested. The suspect, a 35-year-old man, was transported to a local hospital for treatment of non-fatal injuries. Criminal charges will be referred to the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. 3 members of the Milwaukee Police Department sustained non-life-threatening injuries during the exchange. The members injured in this incident are a 43-year-old male with over 19 years of service, a 49-year-old male with over 19 years of service, and a 44-year-old male with over 21 years of service. 4 officers discharged their duty weapons during the incident. These 4 officers will be placed on administrative duty as is routine in officer-involved shootings. The Milwaukee Police Department Homicide Unit will be investigating this incident. This is a fluid and ongoing investigation. Video related to this incident will be released in accordance with Standard Operating Procedure 575. Across the country, we have just seen a number of different incidents involving officers being fired upon. Just recently, Dallas lost one of their members. 2 officers were shot. In Phoenix, a number of officers were shot. In this situation, officers were fired upon where officers were injured. Explaining this to the community is not easy, but I can say this. These behaviors are unacceptable. Firearms used in this way is unacceptable. We as a community need to surround our law enforcement, but also those who are doing right in the community, and disown and have a very serious message for those who use firearms in this inappropriate way. This is unacceptable. This should be, a problem for our community, and we need to make sure that we're turning this type of behavior around, not only locally, but also nationally. Now I'd like to turn it over to our Mayor, Mayor Johnson.
Well, thank you so much, Chief. First and foremost, let me just say that I am grateful. I am extremely grateful for the work of the Milwaukee Police Department, seeking to keep this community safe each and every single day. I'm also very grateful and very thankful of the fact that the officers in question in this incident had injuries, minor injuries, but they will be okay. Third, I want to say that, what happened here was a travesty that should not have happened. It just should not have happened. And even though, the officers were injured here, this wasn't just an attack on them. This was an attack on the entire Milwaukee Police Department. This was an attack on the entire city of Milwaukee. This is an attack on everybody in this community who wants to have safety in our community, who believe in public safety right here in Milwaukee. The chief talked about the suspect and his rap sheet, right? The crimes he has committed before. And he was wanted for a number of crimes when the police approached him here earlier today. I want to send the message out there to individuals out there who have caused death or harm or destruction in this community, like I've said from the outset. When you do those things, you will be caught, and there should be a consequence to pay. There should be a consequence to pay. And the same thing holds true for the incidents that happened just today. An incident where 3 law enforcement officers unfortunately were shot. And an incident where their families should not have had to worry about their loved one being shot. That shouldn't have happened today. Well, because somebody decided to break the law, and somebody thought they were going to get away with it. Somebody thought that the brave men and women of our police department weren't going to follow up. They're going to suffer the consequence. They're going to suffer the consequence. So, again, I am grateful, extremely grateful for the Milwaukee Police Department, and extremely grateful for the fact that these officers are going to be okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor Johnston. Appreciate the thoughts and prayers for our officers. This time we'll take any questions.
Chief, you said extended magazines. Can you detail the kind of firearms that this suspect had?
I can't give any more details than that, but it was a high-capacity type of magazines that was used.
Handgun or long gun?
Handgun.
Chief, can you confirm the suspect was hit by gunfire?
At this time, I know there's injuries. To the extent of what it is, we don't know, but we'll definitely have something later on in regards to where it's at.
This took place in the apartments. Were there any other people in those apartments in that building at the time?
At this time, I don't know, but we are definitely looking for any particular other witnesses. It is an apartment building, though.
Do you know when did these crimes occur, the crimes that he was wanted for?
No, but that's something that we can pass on a little bit later.
Can you detail the injuries of the officers? Can you clarify, were they shot, the officers who were injured and taken to the hospital?
We don't know the extent of their injuries, but they are being checked out. And like the mayor said, God bless that they're able to, walk away. And being physically harmed is not anything to say about the mental harm behind that. But we all are wishing speedy recoveries for our officers.
You said that you guys arrived around scene at 10:15. What happened between the time of serving the warrant and about an hour and 15 minutes later to where the shots were fired?
So, again, these officers are part of what's called the Special Investigation Division. They are individuals who are really at the tip of the spear of a lot of our different proactive work in our city. There is that expectation of dialogue, the expectation in regards to having communication to convince those who are wanted to surrender peacefully. And as we can see, the behavior that was responded with this particular, almost a de-escalation type of style where they're very well trained in regards to this type of work, was responded with shots fired. That is unacceptable. We have to make sure that we're not embracing this type of behavior in our community, especially against those who are, certified, they're, sworn to protect and serve our community.
Were the officers involved in this wearing body cams?
There was body cameras. There's a number of different body cameras that will be part of our release.
Have you talked to the officers? How are they doing?
So I talked to one. There's a number of different, hospitals I had to go to, unfortunately, but he's in, relatively good spirits. I know that definitely these are individuals who are really professionals in my eyes of being able to, step up to the plate. But I am going to be checking on all of my officers in regards to this incident.
Chief, a situation like this, when someone pulls a gun on officers, that's not only endangering officers, this entire neighborhood shut down. I mean, just talk about how this neighborhood was put at risk because of these actions.
Again, misuse of firearms in this way is unacceptable on all levels, not only for, again, this particular situation, but as you just said, the community. But this is a narrative that's way too often, not only in our city, but nationally. I mean, we just saw what happened in Georgia. Unacceptable use of firearms in regards to the behaviors and those put in harm and the families affected and their lives lost. These officers could have lost their lives today. Unacceptable. This is something of a trauma on their end, but also it is traumatizing to our community because there are individuals in our community who deserve to be able to live safely without worrying about firearms, especially in this situation, being utilized indiscriminately, where this individual is actually firing upon officers just because he didn't want to be held accountable for actions that he took upon himself to, again, a violation of our law.
Can I actually touch base on that? So, thank you, Chief. Yep. So, about the impacts on the neighborhood, there's tape up and vehicles out, and their traffic's not flowing. Folks are not able to go about their daily lives as they ordinarily would. But just outside of camera shot here, there are kids here. There are children in this neighborhood. They need to open fire in an apartment building, right? Shooting at police officers with an extended clip, right? Without regard for who's on the other side of that wall. Could have hurt a kid. Could have hurt a senior citizen. Could have hurt somebody's mother, somebody's daughter. Those are what the impacts are. That's why we continually make the plea for individuals to not use firearms in this reckless sort of manner. That's why we continue to ask for help from the state to make sure folks like that don't get the access. And everybody keeps saying, criminals won't, obey the law. Well, try something. Try something. We're doing nothing. Nothing. And we don't control that at this level. We just have to deal with the consequence of it. But do something. Show that you care about these kids who are sitting over here, whose neighborhood is shut down because some idiot with a firearm decided to open fire in an apartment building where I presume kids probably live, right? We need to do something. And nothing has been done. Nothing's been done in Wisconsin. Nothing's been done in some of these other states where, unfortunately, we see whether it's police officers being shot at or students being shot at in a school, nothing is happening. Is this something that our society is comfortable with? This abnormality that no other developed nation in the world deals with at the clip that we do? But we have to do something different. This is another. This is another case of that.
Mayor, what's the solution?
I think there are a number of solutions. Not relative to this particular piece right here, but we have seen and have heard that, especially in the years past and recent history, that individuals were breaking into vehicles with the intent to steal weapons out of those cars and then use those weapons in crimes elsewhere in the city. Why on earth can't we stiffen penalties on individuals who are committing the crime of stealing guns out of the cars, yes, but then also making sure that, gun owners who I presume want to be responsible, that they actually have to be responsible there and not leave unattended guns that are not locked up inside of a vehicle. That's just one. I mean, with a person like that, I don't know what how they came into possession of that weapon, but if they went to buy a gun off of somebody on the street, well, maybe there ought to be background checks for every gun that's purchased. It's crazy to me that you can purchase a weapon that's designed to kill human beings and not have a background check done on that, especially in light of what we continue to see in the United States with kids, with children, the most innocent in our society, being just slaughtered each and every single year. It's crazy to me. Right? So there's more for us to do on that front.
Chief, you detailed this person's priors. Do you know if guns were involved in those priors? And if you don't know, can you just explain to us that this Special Investigations Unit is prepared for firearms when they knock on doors? Can you explain that?
So I don't know the extent of the background, and whatever we can share in the future we will in regards to this particular incident. But yes, I'm very proud of the Special Investigation Division. Again, they are at the tip of the spear of a number of different investigations. They do deal with these type of warrant or those who have charges, serious charges, enforcement. They are also part of the Operation Summer Guardian. So there's a number of different work that they do within our community in such a professional and in a way that we expect as a department, as a community. They do have a number of different tools to utilize for these particular type of situations, and I will say that we still always continue to review in regards to do they have enough resources to have these particular type of incidents handled in the way that we need, especially safely. But again, it goes back to what the mayor talked about, what I'm talking about, the use of firearms in a way that was utilized not only in this incident, but in numerous other incidents, not only within the city, is still unacceptable, and our community has to make that voice and make it heard and well known in regards to that. This is not to be tolerated, and that we need to make sure that we are putting forth the right efforts to not only protect our community, but also those who are most vulnerable, our young ones.
Thank you all.
All right, you've been watching a news conference from Police Chief Jeffrey Norman, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, talking about the 3 Milwaukee officers who were shot this morning during a shootout near 91st and Appleton on the city's northwest side. Those officers, part of a specialized unit, the Special Investigation Division. 3 male officers shot, all ranging in ages from 43 to 44 and 49, each of them with at least 19 years of services. The best news possible out of all of this, those 3 officers are all expected to be okay. They are on administrative leave, which is is standard MPD policy in these types of situations.
Let's also talk about what we know about the suspect. All of this new information, as we just heard from Milwaukee police. 35-year-old suspect was wanted for a number of crimes. When police approached him, he surrendered 2 firearms with extended magazines. The chief didn't go on to give further information about that, but he did say that those were high-powered weapons. The suspect was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He also did mention that the officers were wearing body cameras, so we will work to get that video to get more clarity on what exactly happened. One thing that was said during this entire conference that we were just listening to, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson asking the state to do something about the reckless use of guns that we've seen here in our community. He says nothing has been done in the state of Wisconsin. He also says it's time for that to change.
Yeah, and the chief also mentioning recent situations where officers have been under attack, not just here, but also in other cities, Dallas and elsewhere in the country. We're going to stay on top of this story, bring you any updates this afternoon, starting this afternoon on 12 News at 4.